You want to be seen. You want to stand out. You want to walk into the room and own it. But beneath the glam, do you have the focus to back it up? Because there's one man in anime who flexed harder than anyone. Rings, glitter, muscles, a whole Vegas-level entrance. But behind the noise, he was silent where it mattered. He wasn't just loud, he was lethal. And if you're just performing confidence without training for war, it's all gonna crack. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on what real presence looks like, because the flashiest man in Demon Slayer was also the most focused. Everyone remembers his entrance. Few remember how deadly it really was. Let's be honest. Some days, you walk into a room and it's like you gotta perform just to exist. Be charming, be magnetic, be unfazed. But inside, you're running on 2.5 hours of sleep and 1.5 affirmations. We polish our feeds, quote stoics, stack productivity apps. But let's not lie, most of us are just duct taping our identities together with confidence memes and caffeine. You want to look sharp? That's easy. Looking grounded? That's rare. And that's what makes Tengen Uzui different. He wasn't just a walking light show. He was a warrior built on structure. His flexes, his showmanship, his loud energy, not ego. Weapons. Psychologists call it strategic self-presentation, shaping how others see you to control your environment. But Tengen doesn't just shape perception, he commands it. Because every gem on his arm, every blade he throws, it lands because he trained for this. This is external mastery fused with internal discipline. His explosions are choreographed. His rhythm is calculated. His swagger is earned. This is what psychologist Anders Ericsson called deliberate practice. Repetition so precise it becomes who you are. Not a performance, a built-in protocol for war. Tengen enters the entertainment district like a thunderclap. Kunafly, sound crashes. The city feels him before it sees him. But look closer. Every step, every moment, calculated. Not chaos, muscle memory. Even when he's poisoned, bleeding, missing a whole arm, he moves like a man who trained for this exact nightmare. This isn't flair. This is fight choreography with glitter. Think about a trial lawyer who takes over the room. Not with volume, but because they've prepped every angle for 90 hours. Or an athlete who does a pregame ritual not to look cool, but to lock in their rhythm before the chaos starts. Yeah, it's flash, but it's backed by fundamentals. Same with Tengen. He just makes it look fun. Because flash by itself, that's chaos, noise, a house with no foundation. But flash built on reps, discipline, and awareness, that's power. Tengen isn't loud to distract you. He's loud because he already earned the silence. So, ask yourself, are you showing up with practiced power or just hoping your vibe carries you through? Choose your presence on purpose. Let your image reflect your training, not cover up your gaps. Build deeper than you perform. Be flashy, be loud, but only if you earned it in silence. He didn't want to save the world. He just didn't want to lose his family. Not everyone dreams of being legendary. Some of us just want to protect what matters, to keep the people we love safe, steady, and seen. But we live in a world that praises the loudest ambition, the biggest win, the flashiest success, quiet devotion. It barely gets noticed. You care deeply, but because you're not broadcasting it, people assume you don't. Sound familiar? Tengen Uzui wasn't chasing legacy. He was protecting love. Makio, Suma, Hinetsuru, not accessories, not side characters. They were the mission. That's why he fights. Not for fame, for them. Psychologists call this pro-social motivation, acting in service of others. And it turns out, people who are driven by love, protection, or purpose, they handle pressure better, stay sharp longer. That's Tengen. Not driven by validation, driven by devotion. Before the battle, Hinetsuru apologizes, says she's a burden. Tengen grabs her hand. The glam fades. The warrior drops the act, and he says, "No, you're my pride." That's not a hero speech. That's a man who knows what he's willing to die for. Later, In the chaos, with blades flying, Tengen shields all 3 wives. No hesitation, no calculation, just instinct. That's not just strength, that's devotion, with a sword in his hand. It's like the firefighter who runs toward the burning house. Not for medals, but because someone's child is inside. Or the mom working 2 jobs. No sleep, no applause, just a promise. My kids will have more than I did. They're not chasing clout, they're just trying to survive Tuesday. Tengen doesn't wake up thinking, how do I look strong today? He wakes up thinking, how do I make sure they live to see tomorrow? And that is what makes him dangerous. Not his swords, not his muscles, not the flash, the mission. So ask yourself, who are you protecting? Your future self? Your family? Your team? Use love as your fuel, not likes, not noise, not the algorithm. Purpose outlasts pressure every time. Tengen didn't become unstoppable because he wanted to be famous. He became unstoppable because someone needed him to be. You don't become dangerous because you've never been hurt. You become dangerous because you have, and you kept going anyway. Most people break when they lose. Lose a job, they spiral. Lose a dream, they freeze. Lose someone they love, they vanish. We treat pain like it's the end of the story, but for some, pain is just the part where the story really starts. Tengen Uzui has lost everything. His brothers, dead. His clan, gone. His body, missing an arm. Poison in his veins. Blood on his face. But somehow, he still smiles. He still fights. He still protects others. That's not denial. That's resilience. Psychologists call it post-traumatic growth, the ability to not just survive suffering, but to transform it. Researchers by Tedeschi and Calhoun, 2004, shows those who assign meaning to what broke them come back stronger, clearer, capable of leading others through the dark. Tengen isn't numb. He's sharp because he refused to let pain be pointless. He's on the edge of death. Poisoned, one arm gone, Tanjiro's about to fall. And what does Tengen do? He moves. No plan, no energy left, no reason to think he'll win. He just moves. One hand, no strength, eyes wild. Because quitting isn't an option. Not when someone's counting on you. The flash, gone. The show, over. What's left? Fire. Think about the soldier who loses friends in battle, but comes home to build something that saves lives. Or the trauma survivor who becomes a therapist, not because they're whole, but because they refused to let suffering be wasted. That's Tengen's clan now, not his bloodline, his legacy. Pain didn't break him, it refined him. He's not strong despite the pain, he's strong because of it. So stop asking, why did this happen to me? Start asking, how do I use this? Let pain refine you, not define you. Tengen doesn't fight because he's whole. He fights because he isn't, and he refuses to let that stop him. At the end of it all, he walked away. Not broken, not bitter, just done with the spotlight. We're trained to think that stepping back means failure. That if you're not chasing more success, more likes, more status, then you've faded. But the truth, if you don't know who you are when the noise dies down, you were never grounded to begin with. Tengen Uzui doesn't go out in flames. He retires in silence. No final boss speech, no dramatic send-off, no sequel bait. He loses an arm, he finishes the fight, and he rests. Because his identity was never about being seen. It was about what he stood for. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Tengen wasn't chasing forever. He was chasing alignment with his values, his mission, his code. And once the battle was over, he didn't cling to the spotlight. He let it go. The sun rises over the city. Demons defeated. The mission complete. Tengen watches quietly. No sword, no pose, just peace. No applause. No war cry, just stillness. And that's when it hits you. That was the goal all along. He started like a Vegas showman. He ended in silence. That's a level of growth Most people never live long enough to earn. Like a pro athlete who retires at their peak, not because they're done, but because they refuse to let fame write their ending. Or the entrepreneur who walks away from a billion-dollar exit to spend real time raising their kids. These aren't dropouts. They're warriors, people who know what they value and protect it at all costs. Tengen never needed to be the strongest. He needed to live with honor. And once that was done, he didn't need the battlefield anymore. Define your code. What do you stand for when no one's watching? Practice letting go. Because if the spotlight's the only thing keeping you moving, you're not grounded. You're drifting. Flash fades. But a warrior's code, that lasts. You want to stand out. Good. But if your style isn't grounded in something real, it'll crack the moment life gets loud. Tengen Uzui didn't survive because he was flashy. He survived because he built himself in silence and only spoke loud when it mattered. You want to be flashy? Start by being focused. The rest will follow.